Welcome back to Grade 7 Math, Lesson number 8.4, Surface Area of a Rectangular Prism. Surface area is the area that covers the outside of a rectangular prism. In today's lesson, we are going to learn how to calculate the surface area of a rectangular prism. In order to calculate the surface area of a rectangular prism, we need to know the blank of all of its faces. A rectangular prism has blank faces. If we know the area of each of the faces, then we can blank the areas to find the surface area. Now you'll notice that I said the word blank 3 times. What you're going to do is put this video on pause so that you can determine the missing words. And after, I will present the correct answers. So put the video on pause now. Alright, let's see how you did. In order to calculate the surface area of a rectangular prism, we need to know the area of all of its faces. A rectangular prism has 6 faces. If we know the area of each of the faces, then we can add the areas to find the surface area. Let's begin by looking at the net of a rectangular prism. The area of each face has already been calculated for us. So I've gone ahead and done the work. I've just written down the area of each face. What I found was that after you add 16 plus 16, you get 32. So that means that essentially we're multiplying 32 by 5. And that gives us 160 centimeters squared, or 160 square centimeters. Alright, here's another net. This time, we first need to calculate the area of each face. And I've already done this here. I went through each face, I looked at the length and the width. So I just went ahead and I calculated the area of each of the 6 faces, and then I added each area. And that gave me 208 square centimeters. Now, did you notice anything interesting about the areas of the faces of a rectangular prism? Go back and check the last 2 slides. See if you notice a pattern. Then come back to this. And I'll reveal this now. Something really interesting in a rectangular prism. There are 3 sets of identical pairs of faces. Top and bottom faces have the same area. The left and right faces have the same area. And the front and back faces have the same area. That's very important, as you will soon see. Knowing that there are 3 pairs of identical faces makes calculating the surface area much quicker. Instead of finding the area of 6 faces, we only need to find the area of 3 faces. 1 face from each pair, that is. Then we can, if you said multiply by 2, you're exactly right. So we can use this formula to calculate the surface area of a rectangular prism. And here it is. Surface area, or SA for short, equals 2 times length times width plus 2 times length times height plus 2 times width by height. That will give you the area of all 6 faces, which you can then add up to get the total surface area. And just as in two-dimensional area, surface area is measured in square units. Okay, take a look at this first example. Okay, I've had my length, my width, and my height all clearly labeled. So using my surface area formula, I'm going to say 2 times 6 times 5. So this will take care of both the left and right sides, plus 2 times 5 times 11. That will take care of the bottom and the top sides, plus 2 times 6 times 11. That will cover the front and back. Very important to follow order of operations here. I'm going to do all of my multiplying first. Then I'm going to add. That will give me 302 square centimeters. Now, something else to look out for. You'll know that you're doing this right if you have 3 different combinations of dimensions here. Okay, 6 times 5, 5 times 11, 6 times 11. So I'm not repeating any of my dimensions, my combinations of dimensions here, I should say. It's a little bit different when we look at a cube, but we'll talk about that in class. Okay, so you're going to put the video on pause, and you're going to try out this first example at home, and we will go over this in tomorrow's class, but do put the video on pause, and I want you to write down the work involved in finding surface area for this shape. Alright, let's move on to the next. Again, put the video on pause. I want you to write down all the steps taken, show all of your work, because we are going to take up this question in tomorrow's class. So put the video on pause. Alright then. So after taking up those last 2 problems together, we will work on a variety of surface area problems. I don't think this is tremendously hard. It is time consuming though, so if we don't fit this all in today, we'll continue it in the next day's class. But until we meet again, this concludes today's video.